Hi, this is Mel. I had to do that. Sorry, everyone. This is King Stephen, and I'm going to be covering this today. How to know your pre-birth plan, featuring Christian Sundberg. I know I've covered this guy before at some point. Probably during live streams I've analyzed this guy's pre-birth memories and what he says. But I'm going to cover it again. This guy is all over the YouTube talk show circuit. He's done interviews with tons and tons and tons of people for years, which should raise some red flags for you. It does for me. Maybe it doesn't for you. I don't know at this point. I don't know how good people's discernment is, because a lot of them fall for a lot of shit on here. They really do. So hopefully you improve your discernment and get better and better and better at it. No one is perfect, but people still follow a lot of shit. Like this channel, Love Covered Life Podcast, 10,000 views. Well, she has 127,000 subs, only 10,000 views. That's strange. 700 likes. Okay. Roll it, roll it. I'm going to subscribe to this while I'm here. I'm going to subscribe to Mel. Roll it. Roll it.
Melissa asked me to speak about how we can best use the physical while we're here. So that's what I want to primarily speak to. I'm going to try to limit myself to like half an hour or so we have time for questions. But the other topic we kind of discussed including is how do we sense and follow our pre-birth plan if we have one? That's a question I think both of us get asked a lot. So I'll start with this really great, huge, broad question. You know, how do we make the most out of life while we're here? How do we live a good physical life? Okay, this is a super personal question. It's not easily spoken to, of course, but I'll try to speak to it succinctly. Before I do, just a small bit of context. I'm not going to go into my story today, but just like for a super brief background, my body is 44 years old right now. When I was 30, I took up a long-term meditation practice, and I had out-of-body experiences after a few months of meditation, and had pre-birth memory return to me. And so I'm cognizant of what I'm doing here, you know, why I chose to come and have this experience. And so what I'm sharing is my attempt, my very crude attempt to try to put language on that which cannot be described, which is what is the human experience within the larger context. And I think that's really important to understand, because that helps inform, like, what is the best way we can use this experience that's occurring, that's arising? So to be very succinct there, we are multidimensional beings of love. You know, our true nature is complete and total love, peace, freedom, and joy. That is our true nature. We are consciousness itself, you could say. We're not actually the form. That means the sensory experience of the body and the stories and the thoughts and the objects and all the stuff, you know, that's arising on earth. We just are experiencing this form, and we lose ourselves in it. We identify into the form, you know. So I'm just setting that stage first, because we kind of have to start with what we really are, which is spirit. We are spirit. We are consciousness itself. Human is second. Okay. So how can we best experience this place, like live this life? So first, I just want to mention 3 high-level ideas, and then 6 more specific, like practical recommendations. Okay, the 3 high-level ideas are super important and broad-reaching, but I'll just try to be succinct with them. The first is that we are called to wield an intention that is in alignment with love rather than fear. An intention, a quality of intention, that's first. And the reason I lift that up first is because all the choice making that we do here on earth, all of the choice making then arises from some core intention that we're wielding every day, some real why, and the quality behind the real why that you're making the choice you're making in whatever context. That's like the name of the game, because our true nature is love. And so can we here on earth wield an intention, that means make choices that are in alignment with love and everything love means, rather than fear and everything that fear means? Fear meaning ego and all the shenanigans of the ego that arise out of fear. So love can mean so many things. It can mean compassion, kindness, understanding, peace, perseverance, strength, joy, choosing joy. It can mean so many things. And so this first point is, it's really powerful if we try to really sense, intuit, feel, really know what is the actual loving, freeing, joyful choice in any context. And it doesn't have to be a big crazy context. It could be simple day-to-day type activities even. Like, how do you meet this hour? What could you do, or who could you be? What intention could you wield that is more in alignment with love now? So as we do that, that is a move vibrationally back towards our true nature. It's like bringing our true nature down to this very dense, confining state of being human, and shining that true nature into it. Okay, so that's the first one, is to try to choose love rather than fear in all of our choice making, to be aware of our quality of intention.
Oh, you have two choices, love or fear. Love or fear. Wow, how simple. It's about your vibration, man. You got to meditate like this guy, Christian. You can choose to do that if you want to. Have you paid attention to any of my warnings about meditation and what I've seen? Does anyone know what I've said about it? And Chrissy Pissy Shateris used to meditate for 12, 16 hours a day. He invited a lot of demons in. You can do that if you want to. It's your choice. You're free to believe. You're free to choose. You're free to disregard and discard everything I've said, including that. A lot of people go by their ego. Somebody will tell them something that perfectly makes sense and has lots of research behind it, examples, and they'll run right towards it, or they'll fly towards it like a moth to a flame. Go right ahead. That's the way it works here. Just don't blame anyone else for your choices. You're free to make those choices. You've been warned. You want to follow the New Age path? You go right ahead. That's up to you.
Okay, the second, similarly, on the other side of the coin, so if the first is to choose love, the other side of the coin is to face our fear when we find it. I know that's not always easy. It is not easy. In fact, fear is like the only hard thing, actually. Fear meaning our rejection of the physical, and our rejection of all the stories, and the rejection of the negative self-perceptions that our stories seem to mean. What do I mean by that? So the world tends to say things to us that might provoke self-perceptions that are not in alignment with the truth of who we really are. Perceptions like, I am unworthy of love, or I have no power, or I am not free. Earth is just full of context that might provoke those perceptions, but they're not actually in alignment with the real, fundamental, lasting, enduring truth of who we really are. And because of that, they provoke fear. They prompt fear. And what we tend to do on Earth many times, many people, is we tend to just bury that fear, run away from it, and build sandcastles on top of it, ego structures. We try to avoid it, We tend to not want to face our own fear and our own rejection of life. So this second is, in order to really fully use the physical experience, we are called to face our fear and own our own crap. Own, if you're miserable, it's okay. Acknowledge it. Take ownership for your part, actually. And when fear arises, choose to face it. Take the ownership to face it and to feel it, to actually see the fear for what it is. When we actually allow ourselves to face fear and feel it, that is incredibly powerful. Okay, because like as we say yes and stop rejecting and actually feel what's down there and actually allow the whatever the gunk is to rise up and be felt in the body, in the mind, in the emotion, in the emotional body. As we actually feel, like really open up and feel and allow and say yes, there's this integration that occurs. There's this processing, this healing that occurs. And that is synonymous with the expansion of love, because love is our true nature. And so as we face our fear and own our crap,
allow and say yes, that sounds like submission. Feel, processing, feelings, how does that go with computer processing? When he says processing, it makes me think of computers, how they process code and data. Huh.
There's this integration.
Integration. How does he know that our true state is love? Where did he get that from? Because there's many in this realm, their state or default state seems to be evil, darkness, deception, lying, stealing, being violent, being full of anger, hate, rage. And he'll probably say they're not vibrating high enough. But I see this all across this realm. So I don't just assume that their natural state is love, because I observe something different than that. That's not observably true whatsoever, that their state is naturally love. You could assume that it could be, potentially, in another realm outside of here, but while they're here, it doesn't appear to be love whatsoever. The prisons are full of millions just in America that aren't loving beings, and all the violent beings are by no means in prison. We're not in a loving place, and if that hurts your feelings and makes you feel, oh, it's dark here, or Stephen's saying dark things, scary things, go to another channel, click off this, and go somewhere else. Not everyone that comes here is ready to hear what I'm saying. But you know what? You can observe what I'm saying if you do a little bit of work. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to trust me. You don't have to put faith in me. It's all observably true. Go look at the realm. Study. Watch. Observe. Remember. Pay attention. Do all of these things that people generally avoid doing and say, oh, he tells us to pay attention. I hate when he says that. Yeah, I know. You hate learning. You hate paying attention. You got a big ego. You don't want to learn from others. I know your type. I know your type. I know you're kind. There's quite a few, and it was Callie that was saying that. Oh, he tells us to pay attention. I really hate when he says that. Well, then don't pay attention. Stop watching my channel. Stop obsessing over me. Go watch something else. Get a life. Go do something else. Go through the rest of your life avoiding learning. Go ahead. Gobble up lies. Go gobble up TV programming.
That occurs. There's this processing, this healing. There's this integration that occurs. There's this processing, rejecting, and actually feel what's down there and actually allow whatever the gunk is to rise up and be felt in the body, in the mind, in the emotion, in the emotional body. As we actually feel, like really open up and feel and allow and say yes, there's this integration that occurs. There's this processing, this healing that occurs. And that is synonymous with the expansion of love, because love is our true nature. And so as we face our fear and own our crap, like for real, love tends to expand. Joy tends to expand. We move into more and more full expressions of life. And that's awesome. That's what we're here to do. Okay, and the third high-level recommendation is to be authentic. Be yourself. Okay, so why is being yourself, being your authentic, genuine self? What?
Feelings. Nothing more than feelings. Did you know that feelings can deceive you? Did you know that women could feel certain ways during their cycle, their period, depending on what day it is of the month, can alter their feelings. Not just mood shifts or being moody or mood changes, that can actually alter who they're attracted to and who they're not attracted to. It can affect them that much. So can birth control. Hormones and feelings can affect you. There are some people that change their feelings about someone 15 times in one day. Your feelings can fool you. You might want to look at things through more of a lens than just your feelings. And I know that's popular, like that Jade Tarot said. He's about me, she said, the Sandy machine. He's got to feel shit. He's got to do this. I do have feelings, but I exercise using my analytical mind, my logic and reason. Does that mean I'm only using half of my brain? No, it doesn't. I use the left and the right. If you can imagine that. I use both. I use both hemispheres. I'm having trouble speaking, but I've been up all night. It's morning, and I did a live stream that was around 10 hours. So pardon me, I've been speaking a lot. I do make mistakes once in a while and misspeak, or it's okay though. As Matt says, you sit there and talk to a little light for an hour. Well, I can do it more than just an hour. I can live stream off the cuff for 10 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours. 144 hours is the record. 144. Nobody's going to beat that. Nobody. Anyway, you might want to use more than just your feelings. Do you know why? Here's one simple reason people might want to hear or might like hearing. Maybe, I don't know. You have more than just feelings. So why would you not use all the rest of your tools? You have a whole toolbox, let's say, as an analogy. And you've got wrenches, you've got adjustable wrenches, you have socket wrenches, you have screwdrivers, you have hex drivers, Allen wrenches, you have all kinds of stuff, torque screws, you have a hammer in there, you have all sorts of tools in there. You have a measuring tape, you have a pry bar, and I could go on. You have drill bits, you have just all kinds of tools. It's a big tool chest. It's one of those great big red snap-on ones on wheels that some mechanic guys have in their garage, let's say. And they work on cars in their garage, and they have one at home. And it's expensive. And it's got many shelves in it, and it's got areas for sockets, and it's organized. You got all these tools. Can you imagine that? You have a great big red snap-on tool case on wheels. It's as tall as a dresser. It's a great big one full of tools and everything you need. And it has all sorts of tools. It has little screws in there, different sizes, and just almost everything you could imagine to work on something. Picture that in your mind. Do you have it in your mind? You're looking at all these tools. All sorts of tools. You're looking at files and sharpeners, even knife sharpeners. There's everything in there under the sun. You could sharpen an axe with the tools in there. You could screw in any type of screw or drill a hole with any type of drill bit. You could open anything with a socket or an adjustable wrench or a plumbing wrench. If you had to tap on something or hit something or hammer a nail, you've got a good hammer. You got everything you need. Everything. So why would you just want to restrict yourself to using one tool? Using the hammer for everything instead of using those wrenches and screwdrivers and just taking a fucking hammer and smashing everything with it. Well, some of you might not catch on. You might think, oh, that's ridiculous. Well, that's what you're doing if you say, I'm just going to use my feelings. I'm just going to say, does it feel right? Does it feel wrong? How does it feel? How does this make me feel? If it feels good, it must be true. If it feels this way, it must be this. I've got to feel more and feel more and feel more and feel more. Well, your feelings can deceive you. The hammer doesn't work to fix everything. You might want to use another tool, that you have. You do have other tools. Intuition is different than feelings. Logic is different than feelings. Reason is different than feelings. The apophatic method that I tried to teach people for years is different than just using your feelings. Discarding what doesn't fit, not based on how it makes you feel, but based on it not fitting the puzzle. Okay? You have other tools, but do you want to use them? Or do you just want to say, I just got to feel, and I know. If I feel something, I just feel it. I know everything. I feel it because my feelings never lie to me, but they do. They lie to you often. Your feelings are not always correct. Sometimes people have come to my channel and said, I felt like I hated you at first, Stephen. I didn't like you. I didn't like what you were saying. I hated the truth you were speaking, therefore I hated you. Well, that's feeling. That's feeling based. You hated me because I was saying things that made you uncomfortable about this realm, or about your God, this realm, whatever. Your feelings deceived you. It's not just one person here. Your feelings deceived you. You got angry. You got upset. Those are feelings, or emotions. You could call it emotions, but you felt a certain way. You felt a certain way. And I hope that gets under your skin. I do that on purpose. Just to be mean or cruel? No, because it's necessary. I know how difficult it is to reach people. I've been doing this for decades, trying to get through to people. I know almost nobody statistically in this realm sees what I'm talking about. So I have to pull out all the stops and try everything I can to try to reach you. If there is a you left. Many of you have been so degraded by this place. If this place was a movie degrading people the way that it actually is, most of you wouldn't believe it. You'd say it's just too unbelievable. They can't degrade minds, bodies, and spirits in this realm that way and it not go noticed by most, just go unnoticed year after year, generation after generation. But they do. And you can actually observe that happening if you pay attention, which I don't expect people to do. Most in this realm are way too lazy to pay attention to that over the span of years and decades and see, oh, this family member used to be this way. And I've observed in the last 10, 20 years, 30 years, they've degraded to the point they don't even seem like a human being, like a being anymore. I don't know what they are now. Most of you won't do that. And it would hurt you to do that. You would be afraid to do that. And it would make you sad to do that. And it would make you angry at me for pointing it out as well. That's another human thing. You get angry at the messenger or shoot the messenger or blame the messenger for saying the realm's evil. Instead of looking at the evil realm, you'll blame me. I'm telling you and showing you that it's evil, so you get angry at me. It's easier to get angry and blame me than blame the creator that you fear, the monster that made this place, which is why many of you are going to stay here, because you're afraid of that thing, and I'm not. I've been speaking out against it for a long time. That's why it's easier, because you think, well, Stephen, he can't harm me, but that monster could, so I can't believe what Stephen's saying. Fuck him. And you get angry at me. That's not very bright of you. That's a slave mentality. You might as well anchor yourself to this realm, because you're not going anywhere with that mindset. It's impossible. It's akin to somebody that says, I'm going to do everything I can to avoid learning how to swim. And then in the end, to get out, you have to swim across a lake. You're fucked then. You can't do it. And you did that to yourself. When I say you can't do it, don't get upset with me, because you didn't want to learn to swim. You got angry with me and said, fuck you, I'm not learning how to swim. And I keep telling you, you're going to have to cross this lake. There's no boat there. It's wilderness. You have to hike there, and then you have to swim across a cold water lake. It's not easy. And you just get angry at me. He's telling us we have to fucking swim in cold water. Fuck King Stephen. That's the attitude of many that are new to my channel. I've seen it time and time again for 3 years. Some even admit it. They'll post long comments saying, I hated you at first. I've read a bunch of those over the years. You hated me for speaking truth that you didn't want to hear. You know, I've studied a few things in this realm, not just art. I've studied psychology. I've studied all kinds of things. And I know people get jealous because they'll say, I went to school, Stephen, for that, and I got a degree in that. And a lot of you don't have a clue about human behavior because you don't study it the way I do. You went to school 20 years ago for psychology, or 10 years ago, and you got a degree, and you haven't even applied it. Day to day, observing, studying, thinking, learning more about human psychology. I'm still learning every day here. Because I'm weird. I'm curious. And most people aren't. A lot of people say they have no passion left. This realm crushed them or killed them. They're depressed. They have nothing left. And they're not my age. And they didn't go through as severe things as I did. In reality, they just keep talking about certain things over and over again that were hurtful that they endured. But it wasn't like the things I've endured. And they say they're broken. There's a lot of you that are broken or near broken. Some of you get upset, which is fine. Get as upset as you want. Let it all out. Throw a tantrum, stamp your feet. But I know most of you aren't as strong as me by what you say and the way you react. It's not a competition, but I know I'm strong. I know I'm strong. I know this place can't break me. You're going to see it in the end. Some of you are going to give up and you're going to join evil. And I predicted it. It will happen. Because your mouth is bigger than what your spine is. Some of you still have big mouths and egos. You want to yap towards me and unleash fury towards me, and you don't towards this realm or towards evil. That's what I notice. It's blatantly obvious to me. I don't tolerate that. I wouldn't date someone that lashes out at me for what the world does. Tries to gaslight me and feels entitled to everything I've designed, built, created, to control. You're like someone that was just hired at a restaurant. You work there as a waitress for a year, and then you think you run the place and you're telling the owner what to do and control the place if he says, we're going to close down on Sundays. I don't want to run the restaurant on Sundays, and you get all upset and butthurt and say, you're abandoning us. You're fucking doing this. You don't care. Well, it's his restaurant. Fucking deal with it. Why do you feel like you took over? Why do you feel like you own it? Why do you feel like you control it? Why do you feel like that owner owes you something when they gave you a job and helped you? A lot of you humans are that way. You're fucked up. It isn't just the ones at the top of the pyramid.
What does that have to do with living a good life? Because your true nature, okay, underneath all the pain, all the crap, is love and peace and freedom and joy. Your true nature is that. That is who you really are. So,
is it really? Then why doesn't that show in this realm? We should be seeing it all the time if that was the quote-unquote true nature of most humans. I wish he'd get to the point, though.
Is love and peace and freedom and joy. Your true nature is that. That is who you really are. So here, this deep in the dream, this deep in the confusion, if you can actually choose.
If this is a dream, why are we here? Why does this quote-unquote dream exist? What's the purpose of this? Why does this exist, this place, this realm, at all? I don't mean all of existence. I mean, why did you have to go from where you were before to here? Is that clear enough for people? Because I know how easily people get distracted, and it gets frustrating after years, especially once you start noticing the low attention span of humans. Because it's like, are they actually learning anything? You know, there was someone recently that's been on my channel for years, and she's been using the saying, telling me she'll see me on the other side. I'm not going to name her at this point. I might eventually. I reserve the right to do that, especially based on what she said to me recently. But she's saying that she's done. She'll see me on the other side. So has she really been paying attention? because I mock Darius for saying the other side. Or maybe she's a fan of Darius secretly. I don't know. But she's been saying repeatedly the other side. Something that I've said is incorrect. Getting out of body, you're not on the other side. You're still in the matrix. So did she learn of all the years that she's been here? Or does she agree with Darius J. Wright? Maybe she should go to his channel. Maybe that's where she belongs, with dead-eyed, black-eyed Darius. The other side, the other side. Because I sure as hell don't say that. So did she pay attention on my channel? Or did she not focus enough? Was she distracted? Was she listening to my channel just as background noise? The way someone listens to elevator music or something in the background, which is disrespectful to me and my work. It is, because she keeps saying the other side. And that's not my saying. Not that she has to say my sayings, but that comes from Darius, someone that tried to shut my channel down 12 times or more. The other side, and it's also incorrect. You'll find out, so-and-so, I won't name her, once you get out of body, that you're not on the other side. You're just out of your body. You're still in the matrix. You didn't pay attention, did you? Or you're saying it to be disrespectful to me. Either way, it's not a great thing. So take the other side, and turn it sideways and shove it up your monkey ass. How about that? Because King Stephen said so. And you don't even know what I'm referencing. Do you smell what King Stephen is cooking? You don't get it. Doesn't matter. You don't have to pay attention. Go follow some shit channels. I already know you have a taste for shit. I bet you're watching lots of shit channels already.
To be more your true self, you are taking a step towards more love and peace and freedom and joy, not only for yourself, but actually for the world as well, because that is your true nature. Okay, so those are high-level ideas, and they're broad, so I want to mention 6 recommendations. And again, there's like so many ways we could approach these. It's very unique to each individual, but I'll just lift up 6.
I think I'm going to switch to something else, because this guy is going on, and I want him to talk about something else that I've heard him talk about, and it's probably in a different video.
Coming. This is a great question. Now, first of all, I often hear the question, are we allowed to know? Like, should we know? So there's 2 sides to this coin that are both important to mention. On one hand, we come to be veiled. Like, we know that we can't see clearly while we're here. And precisely in the veiling, in the deep perspective.
Yes, we come here to be veiled. You come here because you want to forget who you are and get leukemia or brain cancer or non-Hodgkin's lymphoma or bone cancer or some kind of blood cancer or maybe breast cancer as a woman or as a man. It's more rare, but it happens. Or heart disease or pancreatic cancer. Surely this makes sense. Well, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. Unless you're a brainwashed New Age fool. Then you do the mental gymnastics to try to make it fit. This is a realm full of suffering. Who would choose to be veiled and get amnesia? The veil of forgetfulness is what he means. Amnesia, essentially. And then suffer and not know why you're here suffering. That's retarded. It's beyond retarded. It's psychopathically fucking retarded on steroids. It's beyond ridiculous and absurd. It's fucking stupid to even carry that belief. It's Stockholm Syndrome beyond words. There's torture going on here. There's people being cut up alive. You fucking moron.
Perspective of being only the human, there's where the value lies. You see, it's purposeful. So because of that, it means that many times it may not be helpful to have some conscious knowledge of what we're doing here and why. Okay, on the other hand, We are spiritual beings, not humans. The veil and the entire physical experience was built for us, not, not as some like truly firm, hard rule that you absolutely no. It's more like a dense playground, and we are allowed to do whatever we'd like with the playground. Actually, I know that sounds crazy because
No, you're not, because you can get all sorts of diseases, genetic disorders, all sorts of things can happen to you in this quote playground. You can be abused as a child. You can be attacked. You can be raped. All sorts of horrendous things happen here. It's not a playground. And you don't get to just choose. You're not making sense. You're an agent of the Matrix. Christian Sundberg.
because we don't feel super free here, and because then we wonder, oh my gosh, what does that mean? Well, in this case, in the context of this question, it means you're allowed to know who you really are as a spiritual being, if you want. Okay, those two sides of the coin, it's important to intuit where we are in between them.
So a guy on my channel requested that I analyze this guy's ND or pre-birth memory, sorry. Anyway, I'm going to switch this. Hold on. How about this one?
And sit around the fire with us, because this is all about gathering around the fire. And I'm going to invite Christian now to our studio. Welcome, Christian. Good evening. Good to have you with us.
This guy Christian almost always looks exactly the same. Over the years, it's weird. There's something weird about it. There just is something weird about this. All right? Strange. Move that up. Here's his campfire. Gather around. And look at this guy's eyes. His mouth is smiling, but the eyes are not. The eyes are not smiling.
Thank you, Fred, so much. It's great to
His stupid prayer hands. I just don't like that stuff. It's so cheesy and cringy. And it's just, I don't like it. It seems pretentious and phony. And so many people do these days. It isn't just New Agers. So many people seem phony, fake. Just get me out of this room. I'm kidding about being that emphatic about it and excited, but I do want out of this place. I'm done here. I've done almost all I can do. There's not much more that I can do in this place.
be here.
As you know, Christian, Spirit Reflections was started in 2020 with the intention to gather people around this mythical fire. So just like the hunter-gatherers of ancient times, we used to live in small tribes, small communities, and at the end of the day, we would sit around the fire in nature, look up in the sky, chant, share jokes, share personal things, cry, laugh, and wonder, where are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Why are we here?
Or perhaps a meter for me. If not, I'll just continue and
I think
speak to that from here, though.
energy, right?
Yeah, right. This level of being, this level of expression and knowing and feeling. And he shared with me, so telepathically, it's not words, that he had an intense feeling before I had ever been physical. Right now, simultaneously, there's a simultaneity of time right now with these experiences. So they do happen in a higher layer of time or something. I don't know how to speak to that from here, though.
I hear you.
Okay. So I remember long, long ago, before I had ever been physical, coming across a being who had been physical. And when I came across this being, I was completely overwhelmed and humbled by the quality of his nature, his essence. It was just so beautiful and full of love and peace and joy and power. And I could
Christian, do you
feel that.
remember the
Yeah.
physical appearance of this being?
So in this experience, it's hard to explain. There was a visual experience, but there was also an intense feeling of being connected not only to this individual, but the entire environment. And we were a part of a large group of beings that were doing some activity. We're going somewhere. I don't know where we were going, but I remember being with many of us. And this one being was in our group. He was just one of us. But his quality, his essence, was so perceivable. It was so tangible. And when I felt it, I was like, wow, like what
So you
did
felt
you
the love that came
possibly
from
do?
this
Yes, he
being.
was so loving and he was so powerful. And I said, what could you possibly have done to be this, to have become this? And he shared with
How did
me,
you achieve this level of energy, right?
yeah, right, this level of being, this level of expression and knowing and feeling. And he shared with me, so telepathically, it's not words.
Look at him point to his head, all these weird hand motions, movements. Very strange. I think it's very strange. So telepathically, this alien being that this Christian Sundberg guy met somewhere that he claims he remembers from long, long ago showed him how to become this way. He said, I went to Earth and I fucked this big titty hot chick. I don't know. I'm just joking. I'm kidding. And it changed me forever.
That he had lived physical lives. And he shared in particular one life in which he had experienced a long term pain, a chronic ailment. And the way with which he met that ailment, the way that he processed it and refined himself through being loving through it, just really refined the quality of his nature and his essence. And
So
I
it
was so
was
deeply
through that
inspired.
painful reincarnation, there was a lot of suffering and pain. He learned how to refine this feeling of love.
So it's not that the reincarnation itself was painful. It's that while he was human, he had an ailment, a pain that he
Oh,
could not
okay.
escape. And it was how he chose to meet that unrelenting experience. He met it with love and with acceptance and with openness and allowed it to refine him rather than destroy him, rather than crush him.
Got it. Got it.
But it's very hard to explain in language because it's
Okay.
an energetic thing. It has to do with the quality of intent that he brought to that experience. It was
The quality
amazing.
of the intent that he
Yes,
brought to that
that's key.
experience.
That is a term that comes from the physicist Tom Campbell. I love that term, quality of intent, because I think it's so important and integral to what we're doing in the physical. What intention do we bring into any choice, any context, every choice, every small little choice? Are we?
Tom Campbell, the quality of the intent. Hold on, please. Here he is. Here's Tom Campbell. A lot of them are tied in with Tom Campbell. They worship this guy. Tom Campbell was part of the Monroe Institute, studied under Bob Monroe, CIA mind control. And that's what some of you don't understand. You're listening to these pre-birth memories people like Christian Sundberg or NDEs. You're actually following creatures. And this is one of their heroes. Right here. Famous. Tom Campbell. Right here. Tom Campbell on Open Your Reality 5 years ago with Chad. he got this guy on, Tom Campbell.
Any decision you make doesn't really affect anything too much. I mean, you can chat to one of millions of people, and you can trade information, but start with all bits, all the potential bits in the system being random or not being assigned, if you will, just there, but they haven't been assigned any particular thing. Then that's how a system gets rid of entropy. It creates information, it creates meaning and content, and as it does, its entropy gets a little help here.
Sure.
Okay, we have your consciousness, and your next thing, and why they're really asking the question.
There's a big tongue flick. There he goes.
Meeting it with love, or are we meeting it with fear? And in this case, this being had met his difficult experience with love rather than fear. And so I was deeply inspired. I was like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it. Like I was just so deeply motivated. And he said something to the effect of, yeah, that's what they all say. Kind of not brushing me off, but kind of like, yeah, it's easy to say that. And I said, no, I just persisted. I said, no, I'm going to do this. I mean it. And he said, well, it's difficult in a way that you've never known before. And I said, that's okay, I'll do it. And he said, okay, go talk to your guides. Okay, so I did. And I don't have immediately after that, but I know that I've lived many lives after that.
But a quick question, Christian. When he turned to you and he said, okay, talk to your guides, do you recall going and talking to your guides to request that experience?
I don't recall that conversation, but I remember going in that direction. And I remember them living many times. So.
Hold on a second, guides? Why would you have guides? What would you need guides for? For what? Request? What, you need a permission? Are they like the adults and you're a child? What are you talking about? You're not a free spirit when you're out of body? Guides.
There's a lot of memory missing there. But I went and found him later after I had lived many times. And I had a conversation with him and shared with him that I was doing this. And he was very encouraging.
I see. So you, at some point after a few lives, you meet him again in this place. We'll
many
call
lives.
It a place.
Yes.
Many lives. And sort of you come to him in this moment like, okay, I've got more baggage now. I've got more to offer, right?
Right. It was like I had processed a certain amount of experience. I had developed in certain ways. I had grown through the integration of many different experiences, but I was nowhere near where he was yet.
I see.
I don't mean to make this sound linear, like on duality, because we transcend duality. We use duality. We use contrast as a tool.
Exactly.
So it's not just a linear process, but yet we do evolve. We do grow and refine. Refine is a good word.
I see. And I'll take this opportunity to share the screen here, everybody, because Christian has a book fresh off the press, which he published just a few months ago in June of this year, which tells the entire experience of his pre-birth memories, the insights that he gained, and our journey here on the earth. And I'd love if you could briefly talk about that, Christian, that this is a book that you are giving away for free, and you are very astonished by the response of people so far, right?
Yes. So the book is something that I felt very deeply needed to be brought into the physical. I feel that I simply received and translated for spirit. Like I only feel like I partially wrote it. The book is not primarily about my experience. It is primarily a way to attempt to articulate our place, the place of the human experience within the larger spiritual context. And I wish to encourage the reader and help them feel who they really are underneath this human experience. Because when we can get in touch with that, it's very empowering, because our true nature is full of love and joy and power. And if we can feel that while we are human, then it is very powerful. It really helps us to not only fulfill why we've come, but to actualize love in meaningful ways for each other. And so that's really what the book is meant to do.
And a lot of people find that kind of insight either through meditation practices, but a lot of them through near-death experiences or out-of-body experiences,
Yes.
which I read in your bio, which you also have had out-of-body experiences, right?
Yes. So right now my body is 41 years old. When I was 30, I took up a long-term meditation practice.
Okay.
And after a few months of meditating, I began to have non-physical experiences. And I did not expect that at all. And it was, in fact, extremely shocking, not subtle, and very worldview altering.
Okay.
my
Do you
worldview
recall the
changed
very first one that you
drastically.
had where you found yourself out of your body, and what was that reaction?
Yeah, so the first non-physical experience I had, I was at first having a dream, and in the dream, I dreamt that I was going to die. And in my dream, I told myself, okay, let go. You can go now. And suddenly I woke up. But my body didn't wake up. I woke up. And I was in a state where I could feel and hear a very, very extreme vibration, like a jet engine was on either side of my head. And it was so loud and so violent that I was terrified, because I was in this state that was not subtle. It was very, very shocking. And I stayed there for about 10 or 12 seconds. And then I woke up and I jumped out of my bed and I was sweating. And it was very startling and frightening, actually. But that was just the first step, I think. Since then, I've had a good number of at least short out-of-body journeys. I've had 4 times where I've been able to meet someone in a non-physical environment that I know on Earth right now, and have been able to confirm it. I've had other times that I have failed to confirm it. I like to try to do this. It's fun. But four successes, at least in my own journey, I think that's it's good to seek that proof. But yeah, when you're there, it's more real than this reality. There's no ambiguity.
Yeah. And Christian, in the other attempts of going out of your body, so did you provoke those? So you consciously endeavored to leave your body, or you just suddenly found yourself out of your body?
Yeah. I've only had one time where I intentionally was able to have that kind of experience. Every other time it has been spontaneous. And that's okay. Sometimes from a waking state, but usually while my body is asleep.
Something that really fascinated me when I first learned about you, and I saw an interview that you did on another channel, which I don't recall the name of the channel now. But one thing you mentioned is that, and I'll ask you to take us there in more detail.
Yeah.
Is when you were preparing to come into this life.
Yes.
As you were disconnecting, so to speak, from the other realm, you started to experience fear.
Yes.
And you caused a spontaneous abortion in the womb of your future mother.
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of spoiled the end, but I did want you to take us there.
No, I'll jump right in. So the majority of my pre-birth memory is of a time that is somewhat immediately preceding this life.
Okay.
I had taken a long break, and I don't want to say resisted, but I was very hesitant to return for a while. I was just resting for a very long time. And this guide kept coming to me and asking me, "Are you ready to go back yet? Are you ready to go back yet?" And putting him off for a while and saying, "No, I'm not ready. I'm not ready yet." And finally saying, "Okay, I'm ready." And reviewing with this guide the state of like who I was, what I had been, what I had done, what I had experienced. And it was like reviewing, this language is so crude. I hate putting it into language, but it's like looking at like a bar chart or something, like a graph. And I could feel all the different things I had experienced and qualities I had experienced and where I had developed and where I was strong. But I could see very clearly this one area that was just so obviously an issue for me. And it was something that had bested me, overcome me in a previous experience. And the best way I can describe it is it was a fear.
Fear, okay.
A fear, yeah. A specific low vibrational experience that in the past had overcome me and led me to be a rather damaging person in my previous experience.
Gotcha.
So I knew that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to integrate this and face it and process it, because I knew that if I could, there would be this tremendous expansion, this tremendous growth of being and expansion of power, not just for myself, but that I would be doing something very deeply meaningful for the whole. But I knew, even from that point of view, how extreme it was and how it may be very difficult. So I asked, is it even possible? Can it even be done? In all of creation, has it ever been done? And being told yes, and you have all of time available to you to do so. There's no hurry. And I just
I see. So the being said, "There's no hurry, but it is definitely possible."
Not definitely possible, and there wasn't a stressing on that. But yes, it is possible. It can be done. It is okay. Like I knew that if any being had ever done something this extreme in this direction, like it was just in one certain direction that was very extreme, I knew that if it could be done, then I would be able to do it. I could do it because I had total confidence in the strength of my spirit, who I am. I knew the awesome. Great strength and the immortal power of my being, you know? Awesome. So I said, okay, that's what I want to do. And they brought me a life, a physical life that was perfect for this purpose.
So when you said...
What extraordinary thing have you done here, Christian Sundberg? What have you done?
They brought you a physical life. They presented you with a plan, a blueprint for a future life, right?
No, they presented me with an opportunity.
An opportunity, got
like it. An avatar slot, like a character slot, a chance to be a person. I'm not even 100% sure that it was human. I think it was human, but it was a physical life with a lot of intelligence that would have gone along with it, cognizance. So I believe it was human.
Okay.
But I reviewed this life, and I knew that it was very, very appropriate for this purpose of mine, to meet this fear and to integrate this depth of difficulty. And so I was super excited. Like I was just so excited. If there's one emotion that I can really express about this pre-life plan process, it's just so much excitement.
It's a feeling of bliss, right? You're going to finally overcome this obstacle.
Yes, and bliss is natural to what we are. We are already bliss. This is more like excitement at being given such a precious, precious opportunity. I just can't stress enough how precious it is to be given the chance to play a human, to be a human. It's like being given the most precious gift in the world, because there are only so many slots. There's only so many chances, and there are way more spirits than there are chances.
What you're saying is so true, Christian. For those of us that follow the channel and are familiar with the books of Spiritism, they say very clearly there, the spirit author Emmanuel talks about how there's a massive line in the spirit realm, awaiting opportunities to
Yes.
be reincarnating in physical bodies. And so
Yeah,
it's definitely a true gift to be here.
It is. And there is a sense of, you know, if you are given the opportunity, it means that you are strong enough.
Right.
You know, like it's not everybody will be able to sign up for this dense of an experience, especially in the
Yes.
beginning. This is an extreme environment, being human.
For sure.
So, okay, so in this case, I reviewed the life and I accepted it, and then I accepted the veil. Okay, the veil meaning the constraints in consciousness space that go along with being physical and having a body.
Right.
And
Right.
the way I like to describe it is, if you imagine the being, the body of your awareness, connected to everything and full of total freedom and total bliss and total joy, and the vibration is very, very high. Accepting the veil is diving from that very high place down, 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 down into very extreme limitation. And
Yeah.
I like to describe it like an amplifier that produces a pitch, like, and then you turn down the.
I'm not coming back here even for bacon and bacon double cheeseburgers and the best steak you've ever had in your life and moose steaks and prime rib and lobster. I do love a good lobster. Nothing is going to get, not a goddamn thing, not the best pizza you've ever had in your life or lasagna. That's not bringing me back here. Not the greatest sex ever. Not the sexiest, naughtiest, most kingastic, kingasms ever is not bringing me back here to this fucking, fuck this place. Nothing would bring me here. And as for people lining up or spirits lining up, maybe they do, or maybe it's a matrix lie. It could be a planted program memory in this guy and others that have written books easily. But there could there be gullible, naive spirits? Excuse me, doing that, I'm eating breakfast. I'm eating my breakfast, I'm cooking and eating and making videos, analyzing videos. I've got some bacon. God damn, I love bacon. I could never be a vegan, but I'm not coming back here to get this bacon. Give me the head of the biggest pig outside of here. I'll have a pig roast outside of this place. God damn. God damn. Fool. I ain't coming back here for no bacon in the world. Bitch. Fuck this place. It's a total setup. Now, is there some addictive, delicious food here? You bet your ass there is. But is that enough to bring me back? No, it isn't. No way, Jose. No way, Jose. When I get out of here, it's go time.
The knob.
It's
And then when you get to the bottom, you turn it down some more. and then you turn it down some more, and then more and more and more. I mean, it's just a ridiculous drop in vibration.
A drop in vibration.
Down to a place where, at least for me, it felt separate and alone.
Separate and alone.
Yeah,
is
now
the
I'm
feeling.
separate from everything. Now I'm alone, and it felt like an erasing of everything that I am.
Erasing, like a deleting.
And an obscuring of my knowing. You know, all the larger part of myself and my connection with everything was gone. It was just gone. And so I was in a place that felt very dark and alone.
A place that felt very dark, yeah.
And so I was in the womb. I was in the body that was to be mine. And I was only there a very short time, and I said, you know what? I am not doing this. This is so
just
dark.
to situate our listeners.
Yeah.
You find yourself in the womb of your mother, inside your future body.
Current body at the time, new body.
Right. And at that moment, your spirit was like, nah, I'm out of here. No, thank you.
Exactly.
I'm done. Bye.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not proud of it because, you know, it was an act of fear. I was afraid, even though I hadn't even been born yet, but I reacted strongly in fear to the separation and to not knowing, you know, who I was.
Right.
And I said, I'm not doing this. So I summoned my might, I summoned my strength, and I fought my way out. I pushed my way out back past the veil. I like punched or pushed through it, and it worked. I was back on the other side. I expanded back out, but I immediately became aware that I had killed the fetus that was to be my body, and I had a life review, just like near-death experiences described, where you become aware of the effect of your whole life.
Right.
I had that even though I was only there a very short time, and I became aware that I had caused the mother grief, and because I had piled grief onto her, I had affected her negatively, but not only her, I had affected many, many other people that the mother would then interact with.
Right.
Because of my fear. And I had all these great intentions, you know?
Right. You were getting so excited and prepared to go.
When I got there, I just rejected it.
And you mentioned something that I just want to make sure it gets translated to our Portuguese listeners. You had mentioned something to the effect of, we have a life review when we arrive back in the spirit world after an entire life. You felt like you had the exact same thing when you came back, even though you were just some moments in a womb.
Yes. Yes, I had still impacted the physical. So it was still important for me to understand how I impacted the physical. I am, not was, but am responsible for that.
Wow. Very well said. Incredible.
So, because that was still me, you know, like I'm in a different life right now, but it's still me. Like I'm responsible for that fear.
To bring that responsibility to this day with you on some level, right?
Okay, so then I could see that I had failed.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe failed is a bad word, because from that side you can see it's okay, everything's fine. There's no true failure. And it's just like a big play. But I could see very objectively that, wow, I have a lot of fear. I got to do something about this. So I spent some time.
And inevitably, by seeing objectively the pain and the grief you caused other beings, it's inevitable that you would feel sad about it also, right?
So sad is not quite the right word.
Okay.
Because from that side, you can see all as well. You know it. You can feel it. But I was definitely objectively disappointed in myself.
Disappointed.
And I knew that I had, because I respected the other players so much. The other players in the game of the physical life. I respected them and loved them so much that I couldn't believe that I had only made their journeys more difficult. I wanted to go and help them be positive, but I had made their journeys more difficult, and so I didn't want to do that again. So I spent some time in a room that I can only describe as a veil acceptance simulator.
Oh my God. Let's give our translator a chance here. Veil acceptance simulator.
Yeah.
De aceitação do véu.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a place, like, the way I experienced it, it was like being in a room with a pool, like a dark, this is just a metaphor.
Sure.
Like a dark pool, and you're like hung over the pool, and you can get dunked underneath in the dark water and go deep down, but it's pretend. And so you can cry uncle, you can ask to be let out. Like, okay, that's enough.
Wow.
And then they pull you out, because it's just a simulator, so that you can practice surrendering your power. Surrendering.
That's extraordinary. What you're telling us is extraordinary. I know it's metaphorical, but it's very accurate in a way to help us prep for it, right?
Yeah, it helped me prep, but I can tell you right now that the real thing is a lot harder than the simulator. Not the same. It did help. but no, it's not the same. So okay, so to continue my story, I knew that I
veil
wanted
acceptance room.
Yeah, so then I knew I wanted to still do this. So they brought me this life. And this life was pretty good. It wasn't as appropriate as the first one would have been. The first one was like super appropriate. This one was pretty good, but it was good enough.
Okay.
And so I reviewed it in vast detail. I reviewed millions and millions of possibilities of what either could or was likely to happen in this life.
Carefully examined this new opportunity of life that was going to be given to you for all the potential,
for me to review,
potential like pitfalls and glitches and places where you could potentially run into some challenges, right? You're doing a very careful review of it.
Have you ever had a toothache pain? Did you sign up for that? Did you etch that into your life plan? Did you etch all that in? It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous.
An examination.
Review, yes, but it's not primarily about events. It was primarily about what it would be like exactly to be this human, to be Christian, to experience being this person.
Got it.
Exactly what it would probably be like, but it was not predetermined. It was it was like a flow chart. Like if you take a tree and you lay the tree on its side and you start at the trunk and then you go out to the branches, that you start where it's very well known what's probably going to happen. And as you go out, there are many possibilities as to how the life might go. Some are
That's
very
a really
likely,
great visual
and
for
some
us
are
to
not likely.
Understand.
And
I think that actually, before to quickly interject here, Christian, I think this visual of the horizontal tree might help to answer a question that we have here from Raquel, because she asks, in your experience, what is the extent of our free will in shaping our experiences? Livre-arbítrio, in shaping our experiences.
Yes.
So perhaps this tree horizontally helps us to understand as we go down.
So the system has all the information. It has all the data. But the thing that is unknown is free will. And so what I mean is free will is the novel ingredient. It's the thing that guides which path actualizes.
How much free will do we have here? We have some choices, but actual free will to choose and do what we want, to even leave here if we want to. If we don't want to just imagine, I'm done, I want out. I don't want to have to go through any pain or do anything gruesome or make an attempt that could fail. I just want out. Where's the free will? They speak so much bullshit, but they say it in ways that people want to believe. I'll put it that way. Not just that people believe. People want to believe. Like that old X-Files poster that Mulder had on his wall. It said, I want to believe. And people do. They do want to believe. Do you see that? It's a poster on the wall. I want to believe with the UFO.
So free will is very, very important. It's not that everything is predetermined. It's only the context that is pre-chosen, not even predetermined, pre-chosen.
I like that.
Once
The
you
context
are born into the context, then you have to make choices. So if you're born into a body, for instance, that has some...
He does that a lot. He laughs after he says something that isn't really funny. He has that habit. I'm inclined to think this guy's an agent of the Matrix, Christian Sundberg.
Limitation. Now you have to live with that. And now you have to make choices through that. But you're free. you're completely free to make choices within that context.
Exactly.
You might not be able to change some of the context, maybe even much of the context, but actually we
Got
have
it.
more ability to influence our context than we recognize. We are very
That
powerful.
is true. That is true.
But anyway,
So you're there.
we enter a context and then we make choices.
Okay. So take us back to that moment where you're carefully examining this potential opportunity of coming to Earth as the Christian we see today.
Yeah. I find that comment funny, as the Christian we see today, because I didn't know that I would be this Christian that I am at now today. Okay, so I reviewed millions of possibilities, and I asked a lot of questions, and I asked about certain characteristics. For instance, I asked if I could be intelligent in this life again, because I knew that I had been intelligent in other experiences, and it was a trait that I preferred. And they said, yes,
Okay.
you can do that. And I knew that it was important that I be born a male, a man, just because the quality of being a man would help in a certain way for me to face this fear that I was
Okay.
coming to deal with. I mean, I was coming for a primary intention, so it was important that I help set up a context that would give me a.
His silly fear that he doesn't even mention is so important that he came to this realm when he didn't come here to fix shit. He's got an ego. Christian, your life here didn't really affect anything. It just hasn't. It hasn't. You came here to face some stupid fear? That sounds like a dumb story. That's what it sounds like. People need to be far more skeptical of this stuff instead of doing what so many people do. They just watch, believe, repeat, think, oh my gosh, what a story. That's what people love is stories. Most people love stories, not the truth. If you want to get out of here, start loving the truth, facing the truth. Even if it's truth you don't like, just love seeking it instead of the fictional stories and the garbage that people love in this place. The lies that people love.
A shot at succeeding.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And I also knew that my parents were very important. I knew, for instance, that my father would instill confidence in me. He would make me feel confident, and that confidence would be very important for me to have a rock to stand on, so that I could meet the fear when it would arise.
Okay.
And I knew that it was likely that in my 20s, in my early 20s, that I would be traumatized, that I would be crushed
Oh,
by an
so
experience that would allow this fear to be
this.
re-experienced.
Oh, I see. So then the context.
And he's being very, very vague. He doesn't tell the trauma, the experience. It's very strange. It makes me think he's probably not being honest. Because if you're willing to do interviews and talk about these experiences, why tell only 80 or 90%? Why not tell what was the trauma? What was the fear? He's not giving details, which makes me think he's not telling the truth or he's not telling the whole truth. That's what I think.
Was that in your early 20s, you would come across somehow a traumatic event that would trigger this fear that
Yes,
you were coming to Earth primarily to face and overcome.
yes.
I think he had a fear of the vagina. Don't fear the pussy. Don't fear the pussy. That's what his fear was. He's afraid of vaginas. He has a phobia of clits. He has a clitoris phobia. This poor bastard. He's afraid of vaginas. He's afraid of the vajayjay, aren't you, Christian? Aren't you? Just be honest.
And I knew that it would be extremely hard. And I knew that I was going further out in one direction than I had ever gone before. So I'm going to mention a metaphor here that might help. This is just a
Okay.
metaphor, but I think it might be helpful.
Just a
Okay.
metaphor, but important.
Yeah. So if
Okay.
you imagine that where you go between lives is like base camp, like the middle of base, like where you go back to rest. And then you can
Okay.
go away from the base in certain directions so far. And this is just a metaphor,
Okay, just a
but it's
metaphor, but
but
a good
imagine you go
analogy.
out into the woods, you go out into the wilderness, and maybe one journey you go 1 mile that way, and maybe the other journey you go 2 miles that way, and then you integrate that experience. And it's like there are these little posts, you know, like I went this far, and there's a little marker in the ground, and you do that in many, many, many different directions.
Directions.
Yes. And so in my case, this direction that I was going to go was one specific direction that I would be focusing almost exclusively on, and I would be going super far past the last marker.
Past your last
Yes,
marker
past
or other
that.
people's
No,
last markers?
my last marker.
Your own. I see.
So I would be basically not forcing, but I would be enabling myself to face something that was so much harder in that direction than I had ever experienced before.
And
that was
just to clarify the metaphor, in between each physical life, we come back to the spirit world, and that's the base camp in the middle.
So, yeah, in the metaphor, the base camp is your true nature.
Okay.
It is total peace, total freedom, total joy, no pain, no harm, no limitation. So you journey out into limitation, into experience, and see how much love you can actualize and integrate there. It's hard to explain, though. So what we are integrators of experience.
I love that.
Primarily
Integrators of experience.
That's what we are. All
Fantastic.
of us on Earth, we come to have experience.
This guy just repeats everything, and there's a lot of beings in this realm that way. Poor bastard has an IQ under 60. I'm sorry, but he probably does. He's probably a low IQ, slow person. He just repeats things. He doesn't think. He doesn't analyze. He doesn't have a mind like mine. He doesn't have a mind like mine, where you could look at Star Trek: The Next Generation and put me versus Commander Data, and I would kick his ass intellectually. I would destroy him. I could play him in chess, whatever. This poor bastard, Fred, he just can't do it. He just can't do it. Anyway, I'm getting a bit silly, but in this realm, people gravitate towards idiots. They're drawn to idiots. They're drawn to idiocy. They love to follow the morons. They love to follow the liars. They love to follow every being that's wrong, that's predatory, that's an abuser, that's a sex offender, a criminal, violent psychopath. If you removed all those, there's hardly anyone left in this place. That's what people follow. And I've demonstrated that. I pointed it out on YouTube, where that's the channels that are the biggest. That's what people line up for, to pay for. You pay to get programmed by liars and criminals and degenerates. That's what you do. That's what humans do. There's no way for me or anyone else to change that. That's just the way it is. Some things will never change. That's just the way it is.
Experiences, and to integrate them into what we are, to grow and to evolve through those experiences. And the theme of love and fear is central to that process, because when we can overcome fear is just one word. It encompasses a lot.
This guy loves to do the hand gestures. And this is the level that people are at. Bless their hearts. Bless their stupid, moronic hearts. Bless them. I wish I could. There's part of me still left that's like, I wish I could help them, but there's a greater part of me now, much greater, that says, no, you can't. You can't. It can't help these fools. You just can't. You'll never reach them. No matter what. You could try everything. It just doesn't reach them. It's like trying to talk with simpletons. They just don't get it. They don't get it. They don't get it.
But
Yes.
when we can process fear and actualize love, that is incredibly powerful. So powerful, especially here on Earth, because this place is super dense, super extreme. This is not the easy class.
They always say that, but super dense doesn't mean anything. And then this plays to your ego that you chose this realm. It's so difficult. You chose the school of hard knocks. It's this narrative is fucking bullshit. And people love it. That's the problem. There's millions that watch this type of content all over YouTube, and they gobble it up and say, "Can I have seconds? Can I have thirds? Fill my gullet up. Just fill me up with this." And that's what they do. They fill up on garbage. And then some of them find my channel, maybe by accident, and they're like, "What the fuck is this?" And their head's full of shit. Their head's full of lies, and they go, "I can't believe this guy's saying this." They're like a walking waterbed on legs, just full of lies, swishing and sloshing around. Just huge. You don't have any room for the truth. Go away. You gobbled up lies your whole life. I can't help you. I can't deprogram you. A lot of you will never drop your programming. Never. You're believing in shit at 45 or 55 years old that you were taught at 4 or 5 years old. You've hung on to programming for 50 fucking years, some of you, or longer. 70 years, 80 years, some of you. You cling to your programming and you carry it for life. Most humans. Now, have I said that it's possible to drop the programming? To drop the baggage? Yes. Do people actually do it? Almost never, including on my channel. People are still spewing programming all the time. People that have been here for years. Hell, there's people quoting Darius J. Wright saying, the other side, the other side. They got programmed by him at some point. Seems like it. They seem to like that expression. It's remarkable. I think people, for the most part, most people in this realm could be programmed by anything except for the truth. That's the one thing out of this entire realm and all the possibilities and things that they could take into their mind and spirit. Humans have a natural type of resistance to the truth. You can't program them with the truth. You can't pay them to study and learn truth. They don't want it. They'd rather have what's on the screen. Listen to this guy, Christian, and many others, and just program the fuck out of them with nonsense. And they love it. It's not that they hate it. And this is something that you people need to understand, is that people smile and feel good getting programmed and paying for it at college, university, or paying YouTube courses, or paying these retreats, these New Age retreats, where they go for a week or the weekend, and it's thousands of dollars. They love to pay to get programmed, most people. And a lot of you, some of you I've never seen admit to that in the chat and agree and say, yeah, they do. That's another thing. Most people can't even agree when somebody shows something to be true. Why do you think they run all these courses, retreats, have all these books, just thousands and thousands of New Age books? Not just to program you, but because they fucking sell. And that's something some of you don't want to acknowledge. You hate the fact of thinking about humans buying up programming to program themselves with books, with tapes, with retreats, courses, every which way under the sun. Paying YouTube channels. You do it. That's what you do. And then someone like me comes along and says, "Psst, hey, over here, I'm handing out free truth on a silver platter. You don't have to give me anything. I don't accept your money." And then I'm hated for that. And that should show you something in a world that's logical with beings that are capable of thinking. But most people that come to my channel can't even figure that out. Oh, this channel's free? Wait, it's different. What does that mean? Why aren't the others free? People don't ask questions. I'm serious. Otherwise, everything would be different. You demonstrate you don't ask questions. Humanity. There's a rare few here that ask a few questions in this whole realm. So be it. Go follow the liars. Go pay them and go into debt. Run up your credit cards so that potentially you have the chance to see, fuck, I really spent a lot of money on this. What did I get out of it? I'm in debt. I ran up my credit card. I have $20,000 on my credit card right now. So what did I learn from that I couldn't learn from the sanity machine, where he's not motivated by money and corrupted by money and bought by money, where he's not influenced by money. He's just putting out truth videos. And I spent all this money and now I'm in debt. And maybe the sting of that financial debt and burden might give you a spark in your brain to say, fuck, what did I get out of this? What did I pay for? What did I learn? Because otherwise, I don't think most of you ever have that moment. Most humans. You just keep going and going till your grave or your deathbed. And some of you on your deathbed would be saying, oh, gee, I hope reincarnation's real. I hope I come back here again. That's what some of you will say. You're that fucked up. And some of you are so dumb you don't pay attention to learn that how bad your next life could be. And I've worked my ass off trying to warn you and show you. But most of you don't take it seriously. You just laugh about it, or just... In this realm, very few take that seriously. And I've shown how bad your life could be. Genetic disorders. I've shown visually in my live streams how bad it could be. It just doesn't sink in with the majority of humans on this earth. It doesn't. And then you know what some of you do? You'll say, is he talking about me personally? You get that baby truth or paranoia where you think, he must be talking about me. He doesn't like me. No, I'm not talking about anybody on my channel. I'm talking in general. And that also bothers me about people that get so paranoid thinking, is he talking about me? And they make it personal. I'm not talking about you. But you might have mental issues believing that I am all the time. You might.
No one here is on vacation.
Really far away. This is not vacation. No. This is going really, really far away and seeing, can we...
They're so simple. This is not vacation. This is not vacation. And that's another thing. People love simplicity. Just like that guy earlier, the Black Sheep channel, where he had that simple thing. It said simple, the word simple, as a little knick-knack on his shelf. A little cheesy, stupid thing that he had. And that's perfect for people because they do. And I've said that and shown that to you. That people do love what's simple. They want everything simple. Because then it gives them an excuse to shut off their mind and go, oh, I don't have to think about anything. It's just so simple. I love what's simple. They just want a simple life like a slave. Others will think for you. You don't have to think. Someone else will think for you and give you some orders. You just follow orders. Do what you're told. Don't think, just follow. Just fucking follow like a slave.
Integrate that. Because if we can do that, the expansion...
I hope somebody says to me again, I really hated you at first. My response will be, good. I'm glad you did. I'm glad. How human of you to hate someone for speaking the truth. Thank you for hating me. Thank you. Maybe by the time I leave this realm, except for my loved ones that love me dearly, I'll be hated by everyone else. And I'll say good. Good riddance too. I tried to help you fucking idiots. And that's what most humans are. Zombies. You hate those who try to help you, and those that sell you lies and mind control you. You fucking adore them, don't you?
It's huge. Yeah, it's a great opportunity.
Great metaphor.
Great opportunity. There's no other channel like mine. There never will be. Never. There will never be another channel like the Sanity Machine. And if you think you can do it, build a channel. Create one. Build something. Make something. Create something. Create videos. Show your stuff. Otherwise, shut the fuck up and stop being jealous and envious. like people are. If you can't make a channel like mine, just shut up. Tell your own thoughts to shut up, saying, oh, he thinks he's this and oh, he thinks he's that. That's what a lot of you do, and I'm well aware of it. At times I can sense it, even over the internet, and sometimes I can sense it. The jealousy coming out of humans just walking by them, the energy. A lot of you are fucked up. A lot of you are exactly what this realm wants you to be. You've become what it wants you to be. And you also think that I owe you something, that I owe you answers, solutions, a way out, a plan, knowledge, wisdom, everything I have. I don't owe you. And that's another reason why I'm not giving you everything, because so many on my channel over the last 3 years have acted entitled like I owe you everything, and I don't owe you anything. I'm going to leave it there. Let you ponder that. And if you don't like the way that sounds, fuck off and go to another channel. I'm going to repeat it. I don't owe you everything. In fact, I've given you more than most in this realm would ever give you or sell you for money. But you're too fucking entitled, many of you humans, to realize that. And you make me sick with entitlement. Entitled people like that with an entitlement complex that don't appreciate and aren't grateful. You make me sick. Go fuck off to a channel where they just program the living shit out of you. That's what you deserve, and that's where you belong. Fuck you. How's that for an ending? How's that for an ending? Fuck you.